So hey guys, in today's video I'm gonna rank the top 10 hardest bosses from Hollow Knight and Silksong combined. And let me tell you, doing this list was quite hard because there's close to 100 bosses between these two games, so this was quite challenging. But at number 10 I decided to go with a Savage Beastfly from Silksong. Now we fight this boss 2 times in this game, and this is an optional boss, and this is extremely important because it will depend very heavily in how soon or how late you fight this boss. I personally found this boss extremely early, so I didn't have him a lot of masks or a lot of tools, so he kicked my ass pretty badly, you know, like the first one. But the second one, honestly, to me was even harder because every time he hits the floor, like the floor will crack and basically you can fall into that lava and you'll get 2 damage every single time. And also the enemies that spawn in that fight, they also throw like fire at you that will also do double damage, and it almost seems like they have aimbot or something. I found it extremely annoying. But again, because this is an optional boss, maybe you had a much easier time, but for me fighting this boss was hell on earth, definitely. At number 9 I went with the First Sinner, which is another Silksong boss. And I know right away that I'm probably gonna get some hate in the comments here because I have received so many comments on my videos saying that the First Sinner is extremely easy, and maybe like if I would have used the claw line to fight her it would be a different story, but I didn't use it at all. So this boss was extremely hard for me. I spent for like an hour fighting this boss, and hitting her it was extremely hard because honestly to me I think this is the fastest boss in the 2 games combined. So even getting a simple hit on this boss was extremely hard for me. She does of course double damage, and she has 2 phases where she brings explosions to the fight, and honestly I simply could not handle the speed of the First Sinner. It was an extremely hard challenge for me. At number 8 I decided to go with Karmelita. Now this is a boss that every single time you die you have to find a gauntlet just to fight her again, and like this is a boss that throws discs at you, she runs at you and some spikes stay on the floor. She does like a circular jump in the air as well, and one of the craziest things in this fight is that she actually blocks your attacks, so even hitting her can be quite a challenge. And the further we go into the fight, she just doubles the amount of discs that she throws at us, and she just continuously attacks faster and faster, so she becomes quite extremely hard to beat. And I spent around 1 hour and 15 minutes on her, so yeah, definitely Karmelita deserves to be on this list. At number 7 I decided to go with the Hollow Knight boss, which is the awesome-tacular Zote. Now this is a boss that is so extremely hard to take seriously because you find him in the game so many times and he's always like this comedic character, and when you actually fight him in the DLC you kind of see the way he looks, and you kind of see the way he runs, the way he moves, the way he jumps, and you cannot help but laugh like crazy. But this is a boss that you need to take extremely seriously, man, because he is so freaking hard. Like some of his hardest attacks for me, it's like the jump that he does and you never know when he's going to land, but my personal one is the one where he like moves his sword and starts running from one side to the other, you have to like pogo on top of him. That attack destroyed so many of my attempts, it's not even funny. Zote, from what I understand, seems to be a boss that most people don't like, but I absolutely love him, even though he's crazy hard, and I had a blast every time I fight him. At number 6 I decided to go with Markoth, and this is like pretty much like a personal problem that I have because you have to fight Markoth in the DLC just on top of a few small platforms, and this makes the entire difference for me. Markoth is a boss that, you know, has like a shield around him and it throws like these arrows in your direction, and this was totally fine in the main game. I had no problems beating Markoth, but in the DLC, because you're in those platforms, it makes things 10 times harder. And if the first phase is already a nightmare, in the second phase he will throw those same arrows 2 times faster, and he also gets 2 shields around him, so even something as simple as hitting him becomes quite the challenge. So yeah, Markoth is extremely hard, and as someone who has done the Radiant version of him, that is something I never want to try again. At number 5 I have Nightmare King Grimm, also from Hollow Knight, and this is one of the fastest bosses in the entire series as well, and one of its best. The crazy thing about Nightmare King Grimm is that we already fought like a version from him before we fight this one, and even so you still get your ass kicked. Now I'm pretty sure I died around 50 times on this guy, and it was mostly because of his insane speed. Like I kinda already knew most of his attacks because of the other version, but because he is faster and he does pretty much double damage with everything that he hits you, it gets so incredibly hard. And I don't know about you guys, but the sound of getting double damage in Hollow Knight is so goddamn powerful that it just makes me so stressed. That is so unbelievably easy to get destroyed by this boss in just a few seconds, and yeah, he totally totally kicked my ass, Nightmare King Grimm. Very, very tough boss. At number 4, and absolutely no one will agree with me on this one, and I know it's crazy to put this boss here because it's an optional boss, but this is based on my personal experience, and I found the Lost Kin extremely early with barely any masks to fight him, and apparently like there's a charm that you can use to kill, you know, like the orange ghosts that he throws at you, but I did not have any of that, or if I had, I did not know that I could use it. So just for you to have an idea how incredibly hard this boss was for me, I died over 100 times to the Lost Kin. I'm not even kidding, and I know that might sound ridiculous and embarrassing, but again, I had a very small amount of masks, and this boss is so much harder than his normal version that I simply could not handle it. Like the never-ending spawn of ghosts, and plus the really strange jumps that he does, where you never know where the hell is he gonna land, was quite the nightmare for me. So yeah, Lost Kin, I know absolutely no one will even put him in the top 10, but for me, this guy completely wiped the floor with me. And at number 3, I decided to go with Pure Vessel. Now this is one of my favorite bosses in the entire series, and this is a Hollow Knight boss, and you can find him at the DLC in Godhome at the end of Pantheon 4. Now as soon as I fought him once in Pantheon 4, I was like, okay, this guy seems crazy hard, so I'm gonna go to the practice room to fight him, and it took me 200 tries. Let me say that again, 200 tries just to beat him once, and I could not believe it myself. Like, I thought I was never gonna get past Pantheon 4 because of how insanely difficult this guy was, because Pure Vessel is insanely fast, he does double damage, he has 3 goddamn phases, and especially that one attack that he has in third phase, you know, like the tentacle attack. Now that thing was destroying every time I would fight him. Like, for some reason that attack, I think that it's very similar the way he starts that attack with another attack that he has like on first phase, and so I kept confusing what he was gonna do, and I kept dodging in his direction, and the tentacles would hit me and I would die over and over and over again. Now I know some people fight this boss by jumping in the air and doing pogo on him, but I never managed to adapt to that strategy, so I was completely destroyed by him. But I had an insane fun every time I fought him because I absolutely loved this boss. Now at number 2, I have Lost Lace, which is the final boss from Silksong in Act 3, and this is a boss that if you saw my ranking, you already know that I spent 8 goddamn hours fighting her. This was absolutely insane. At a certain point, I just almost wanted to quit, and of course I didn't do it because, you know, the more you fight a boss, the better you get, and eventually you're gonna get the win. But Jesus Christ, man, Lost Lace is insanely fast. She has 4 phases, and I almost could not believe she had 4 phases. Like, just to me to beat the first 2 was quite a challenge. So when I saw that she has a third and a 4th phase, I just lost my mind. And I have to be honest, I wasn't fighting her at full power. If I had all the nail upgrades and I use every tool that the game gives me, maybe she would be a lot easier, but again, I'm basing this on my personal experience, and she completely wiped the floor with me. But same as Pure Vessel and Nightmare King Grimm, she's also another absolutely incredible boss that I absolutely love to fight, so I really don't mind the 8 hours spent on her. And at number 1, and still the hardest boss in all of Hollow Knight, I have to choose, of course, Absolute Radiance. Now, there isn't much I need to say about this boss. This boss is extremely famous. Like, I've even seen this boss in like the top 10 hardest bosses in video game history. Like, Absolute Radiance has like 5 or 6 phases. It's absolutely bonkers. She throws like these arrows at you that will come from above and from the sides. She will throw like these yellow orbs. She will throw lasers, and like you have to fight her on platforms in like third phase, and you have to climb these platforms all to the way to the top while lasers at the speed of light fall on top of you all the time. And then you have to fight it in just 2 platforms while those yellow orbs follow you around the arena. It is absolutely bonkers. And what's even bonkers is that the Hollow Knight community actually did some mods to make even harder versions of this boss. Like, what the hell, guys? You guys love pain, don't you? Absolute Radiance is still the hardest boss in the Hollow Knight series, but I'm gonna take a guess that Silksong DLC is gonna bring us something even harder, and I'm sweating already. I cannot wait to get destroyed for like 20 hours to some insane boss that they're gonna cook for us on the DLCs. And yeah, these are my top 10 hardest boss in the Hollow Knight series, and yes, you can go to the comments and tell me how ridiculous it is for me to put Lost Kin even on the top 10. But I stand by it. And yeah, this is my list. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and as always, I see you guys on the next video. Stay well, bye bye.